want to find the functions f composite g, g composite f, f composite f, and g composite f, and their domains of the following functions. F of x is equal to 1 minus 3x, and g of x is equal to the cosine of x. Now, the domain for both of them is all real numbers. So let's take a look at the first one. We want to find f composite g of x, which means f of g of x, where g of x is the input for f. So g of x is the cosine of x, and now the cosine of x becomes the input for f of x. So this becomes 1 minus 3 times the cosine of x, and therefore 1 minus 3 times the cosine of x is that function. And the domain is that x is all real numbers. Okay, number 2, we want to find g composite f of x. So the definition is g of f of x, where f of x is the input on the function g. So we replace f of x to be 1 minus 3x. And now plugging in 1 minus 3x into the function g of x, it becomes the cosine of 1 minus 3x. And the domain of this function is x can be any real number. Now let's take a look at f composite f. So we want to find f composite f of x, which the definition is f of x, where f of x is the input on f. Well, we know that f of x is 1 minus 3x. Now that becomes the input for x in the function f, so it's going to become 1 minus 3 times 1 minus 3x. And let's distribute that negative 3, so we get 1 minus 3 plus 9x, which becomes negative 2 plus 9x, which is also equal to 9x minus 2. So what is the domain of this function? Well, again, that can be any real number. Okay, let's take a look at number 4, or part D, and that is g composite g. So g composite g of x is g of x. So g of x is equal to the cosine of x. And then this becomes the cosine of the cosine of x. And again, we know that the domain is going to be any real number. And now please make note that this right here is not cosine of x times the cosine of x. Okay? So remember, that is the cosine of the cosine of x.